did a little live yesterday on Instagram going over some of the plans for the projects and what needs to happen with the cars. So the major thing on the Monte, which I might start on later today, it'll be a separate video. But for this one, it's a problem I mentioned a little while ago. And while I was driving into the Classic and leaving the G-Body Classic, I noticed the turn radius on this thing is horrible. And it mostly has to do with the back spacing on the wheels. So the G-Bodies, you usually want to stick around that 4.5-inch back spacing. I said these are on the Elko, they're 17 by 8, or yeah, 17 by 8 or 8.5. I think 17 by 8s. But they have 4.5-inch back spacing, so the turn radius and everything is good on there. We're on the Monte. These are 20 by 8.5, and they fit up fine. There's plenty of clearance in the rear, but with the front, with the back spacing, the back spacing on these is 4.99, so right at 5 inches. Which, like I said, the rear, no problem. They don't rub or anything. There's about 1/2 inch clearance between the frame and might be close to an inch between the frame and the tire. Yeah, probably about an inch. But however, the fronts, with that back spacing being a little bit larger than 4.5, it rubs, so you can't get the full turn out of the wheels. So I know I'm not a big fan of them. I say get the proper fitment. I didn't take my own advice, so I did order some spacers from eBay. They're 1/2-inch spacers. So I went black. I was debating between black and chrome. So I went black just because the wheels are black. So it probably won't stand out that much, but I am going to run a 1/2-inch spacer on it, and I don't have any problem doing that. Like I said, anything larger maybe, so 1/2 inch or 12 millimeters. So the reason I don't have a problem, or I'm not seeing a problem, is I did go with the longer studs. So even a 1/2 inch is still going to give me plenty of thread for the lug nuts to stay on. So I don't have any problem. Like I said, I probably have 1/2 inch there. So I'm going to move the wheels out a little bit. Only concern after that is this lip right here. So I might end up having to roll the fenders, or just this lip. We'll see when it gets to that point. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to. With the suspension, I'd have to hit a really big bump, but we'll keep that in mind. I might have to get the heat gun out, get the fender roller, and just roll this inner lip. But it is going to give it a better fitment, so it's going to come out just slightly there and come out slightly here, and hopefully that'll give me a little bit more turning radius with this. So with the front already being on the dollies, I just loosen up the lug nuts, jack the car up, take them all the way out, throw the spacers up front, see how I like that look. You got to see the fitment. Like I said, it still needs an alignment up front, but as far as the rear, I know come out a little bit more. So yeah, let's give you an idea of the look. Like I said, these are 17 by 8.5, so these could probably come out more, but that'd be later on down the road. I have been considering what I want to do with the spare rear end for this, so yeah, that'd be later on down the road. But I do want to swap the posi in. Like I said, I have the posi right over there. So it should help pick this thing up a little bit more when I do that. Think about switching these wheels out. I like them, but I think it's time to go a little bit bigger. Maybe not 20s, maybe 18s. but we'll see. I like the look on this. I said these are 17 by 8 with 235, 45, 17s all the way around. I wish I would have went a little bit larger or taller tire on it. So maybe a 235, 50 or 55, or maybe 245, 50 or something like that. Just a little bit taller tire. These are 20 by 8.5, 245, 35, 20s. So I like the tires on these. Like I said, probably could have went a little bit wider, maybe 250, 255, but I'm running squared all the way around, so that's why I kept them at 245. Eventually, like I said, I might step it up to 22s on here. I'm not sure. I like the 20s, but we'll see. These might end up on here. I might give these just maybe same size, different look. Who knows? But let me stop talking and get the spacers thrown on. Like I said, I won't drive it, so I really won't know the turning radius. If it made a difference or not, I'd definitely give it a little bit different stance, with it being poked out a little bit. But yeah, it's time. It was a 4-piece kit. Most kits I saw were like 2-piece, so this one does have 4 in there, so front and rear will be spaced out just a little bit. Like I said, it's my fault. Like I said, I knew they'd fit with the backspacing, but it does affect the turning radius. So on these G bodies, you want to stay around that 4.5 inch backspacing. 4.99, it might be a little too much. I know if like 22s, it's suggested to notch the frame up front to get it to clear, or for the right fitment and turning and everything. And then, like I said, if I would have went a wider tire on the rear, I probably would have frame notched it. But 20s, I was like, it should be fine. On the next one though, if I do, or when I do build another G body, it'll probably be, I'll do a lot more stuff than I did on both of these. I'll do the frame notch, I'll reinforce the frame, I'll do a whole bunch of other stuff. But for this one and this one, both street cars, the next one might be more towards the race car theme. So we'll see. Let me stop talking and get these on, and then I'll cut you guys on for another video. I'm gonna start working on the Monte a little bit more, but I'll go over that at the end. Alright, so like I mentioned, they're right under 1/2 inch sticking out with the threads, but I think they're 2 3/4 inch studs. So with them put back on, so they don't poke out anymore. Somewhat, they're in there a little bit, but nothing to worry about. There's enough thread on there. And these ones, they're not hub centric, but they're like the lug nut centric kind of. I could have gone with the hub centric ones, but with the blazer spindles and different rear end and everything, I could have came out and measured it, but it'll be alright. So these ones, you kind of see the little concave a little bit, or grooved. So this goes on the outside, the flat part goes on the inside, and we'll call it good. So the fronts are on. Like I said, it is out slightly more. Maybe not that noticeable on camera. The back should be a little bit more noticeable. But yeah, a little concerned that I might have to roll them. It shouldn't be a problem. I know when you do roll them after it's painted and everything, I should have did it before, but I didn't. There's some stuff, like I said, I did before, and then you go back and like, man, I should have did that before I did this. But it's just part of learning. It's part of the learning in this car game. If you've done a bunch of them, I'm pretty sure you would have rolled them before you painted or did the body work and stuff. But it's only my second build, so I'm still learning. But yeah, let me get these on, and hopefully, like I said, eventually I'll roll them. So I say I get the heat gun. Pretty sure I have a few buddies with wheel rollers, so just borrow that, heat it up. I think that's the big thing. Once it's painted, you want to heat it up and just go slow with it. So that'll be down the line. That'll be one of the next things I do with the Monte, probably after the transmission. But let me get this on and get it put back, or get these spacers on, lower the car back, and see how it looks. I really need to clean up these wheels, but that's my thing. Like, they're not show cars, but it's nice to keep them somewhat clean. But as far as like detailing and everything, that's not my priority with cars. Like I said, all these, they get sprayed down every now and then. I'll shine them up every now and then, but as far as keeping them clean everywhere I go, nah. But this one, I might have to get that spray, wipe it down, because I pretty much haven't done anything since I got back from the Classic. See all the stuff on the windshield, all the bugs and everything on the side. I think the front's got it too. All the water, hit a couple rainstorms on the way back. See the brakes. So yeah, but I'll get out here one of these days and wipe it down. But yeah, let me get back to it. Alright, so all four are on. Like I said, it's probably tough to tell on camera, but you can definitely tell they're out a little bit more, especially the rear. I was checking with the little paint stick, and it's clearance up top until you get to about there, and then, like I said, depending on if you get a bump or something about these curves, that's where it's going to rub. But I'd probably just go ahead and roll them anyway. Yeah, I guess that angle I should have gave you before. Like I said, it's starting to get there. I do like it though. I like the look. Like I said, just the small touches that make a difference. Still looks like nothing there, but it's getting there. I'm not one of these big wheel guys, so the 5 and 7 inch lips, I don't know. But I'm good with this. I'm good with this setup. Like I said, hopefully I could figure out the transmission problem, so probably mess around with that a little bit later. It's starting to get hot out here. So might mess around with that this evening. Start getting this one out. Before I was going to take the other one up to get it rebuilt or looked at. What I think I'm going to do, then I'm going to clean this one up, paint it, throw it in here, and then I'll get this one out, and then probably next month after the Lincoln Tech car show that had to be pushed back, then I'll have this one looked at and rebuilt, and then swap them out again. I know it's doing more work, but right now this one is just, I think it just has one gear. Even driving it, it doesn't feel like it's shifting at all, so I think it's just one gear, so no reverse. So it's got to come out of here and get looked at. And the other one, like I said, I borrowed from my buddy Ernesto from Colorado Gbodies, and he believes it's good, even though he pulled it out of a van, so not sure of the known condition, but I think I'll take my chances, clean this one up, throw it in, and then, like I said, just take that one out eventually and get it looked at. But I'll probably start, like I said, this evening, messing around with this a little bit more. Still need to adjust this door and get the door rod in. The one I got, that's short too, so what I'm thinking now is that something inside the door is bent, so I might have to try to bend it back or just add an extension to it. But yeah, that's it for this one. Just throwing some wheel spacers on it. Hopefully it fixes the turning problems. I'm able to turn a little bit better, but little things here and there. Really my first time getting out here in about a month to really do something on the car besides just turning around and getting parked over here. So we'll see how it goes.